I'm going to read out the title of this talk because I love it. So it's Nighat, and I'm so sick of talking, my face hurts, a rant by a brown feminist from the global south. Nighat.
Hi guys. It's an honor to speak to all of you at this stage. Thanks Mozilla for giving me this space and opportunity, and I'm very excited to meet with so many friends belong to the internet freedom community here. While I was deciding about my talk, there was also another honest thought somewhere inside my heart, and that thought was, yet another stage performance? Every year in different conferences and events on internet freedom and digital rights, we stand and talk at length about our work. Our take on the issues around internet freedom, internet governance. We talk on stage, we talk in panels, focus group discussions, and then promise to meet again next year. And this random thought really got me confused and slightly angry. And I thought, what am I going to talk about there? The digital rights issues, which I have given dozens of interviews to national and international publications, New Yorker, New York Times, Guardian, Huffington Post, you name it. Or should I talk about my anger, frustration, and a lot of other questions that we usually do not ask each other? The bitter truth is that internet freedom situation is getting worse, not only in the repressive regimes, but so-called democracies as well. Some of us now can get arrested if we can teach people how to use internet safely and securely. Online harassment has become an epidemic, widely discussed in mainstream media. Mass surveillance has grappled our cities in disguise of safe cities projects. San Francisco, Amsterdam, Berlin, London, Rome, Geneva, Valencia, etc., etc. I have spent almost a quarter or more of each year to these conferences and many other places to attend events like Internet Governance, RightsCon, Internet Freedom Festival, and many others to highlight the amazing work that we are doing in Pakistan. I also talk about the dangers of the work that we face, as well as the work of many allies in Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bahrain, Nigeria, Egypt, India, and elsewhere in the global south and beyond. I have been at each of the conferences I have mentioned to, and I have spoken at length at many of them. Make no mistake, I have connected with heroes and built strong ties of solidarity with the on-ground activists that go beyond geographical boundaries. But you know what? I'm also exhausted. Exhausted because kudos for speaking out at a panel as a token brown global south activist will not stop hackers attacking the server of my organization or stop the death threats to me or my team on a regular basis. Exhausted because manifestos and applause will not comfort the hundreds of women and girls in Pakistan who call not to just our understaffed cyber harassment helpline, but they call me on my personal number as well, tearful and terrified, and whom I cannot and will not turn away. Exhausted because applause alone does not translate into funding for small women-led organizations trying to do their best and contributing towards internet freedom in their countries where victims of harassment and government clampdowns need solidarity and support the most. Exhausted because people I knew have been murdered for expressing themselves. A fierce activist, a friend, Sabine Mahmood, was brutally murdered 2 years ago in Karachi because she decided to give the voice to the voiceless. Exhausted because I wait at traffic lights wondering if I'll be gunned down at any moment, like Sabine, who refused to back down to censorship. exhausted to see women being killed in the name of so-called honor. A young social media celebrity, Kandil Baloch, who decided to reclaim online space by starting her own Facebook page and boldly claimed her sexuality, which, by the way, no one has ever done in Pakistan, using online spaces. She not only did this, she also challenged religious clergy. This woman was killed by her own brother in the name of so-called family honor last year. It is because of these dangers such as these that I had set up Digital Rights Foundation in 2012. DRF was established to fight on behalf of human rights defenders, on behalf of religious minorities. I set up DRF to work towards a Pakistan where the right to privacy and free speech of every citizen is acknowledged, respected. I set up Pakistan's first cyber harassment helpline last year to work towards a Pakistan where identifying as a woman online or even outside the house does not result in you being the victim of gendered violence. Fighting for privacy and against surveillance, for women's rights and against gendered violence are what I have been doing, because these are very real to me in my context. I have spent part of my life being kept under control by people around me. My autonomy as a woman denied to me. Activists like me have so many threats that the days that I don't are the ones that concern me the most. Whenever my phone rings or I get a message, there is dread. Is there another report of a friend being killed or being missed? And yet I do this. I come to these conferences and speak on stages such as this one because I know that my cause is just. I know that the repressive governments, non-state actors, the people full of hate do not want any attention brought to their own failings, which is why this work matters. Whenever a young girl or woman contacts the cyber harassment helpline because they know that they can trust us, that is when our work matters. Please remember, when we will leave this event, this festival, we will be returning to reality. Some of us will be returning to chaos and censorship, with a touch of persecution and denial of access for variety. Some of us will be returning to countries that have no legislation to protect our personal data, where the government is unable to tackle gender violence, and I'll be returning to a country where someone has been recently sentenced to death for a WhatsApp message. Time is not on our side. Governments and corporations are not on our side. It is for these reasons that we must reaffirm that many of us in this room already know that what we do and what we say are not just abstract theories or hypothetical scenarios. If the theme of this year's festival is healthy internet, then it is one that we must strive for proactively. Healthy internet can only be achieved when activists that are on the ground, fighting for digital rights on behalf of the marginalized, the vulnerable and the persecuted, know that they and the people that they fight for can rely upon networks like this one that will support them with action rather than just words of praise. When we need you, all we ask is that you show up, as we always do for you, like I'm here today. Thank you.
Questions? You stunned them to silence. Okay.
So
Anasoya.
what would you like, Nighat, for all of us in this room? What would you like, Nighat, for all of us in this room and beyond to do to support you and the amazing work that you do?
I think it's we need solidarity, of course. I'm so glad that organizations like Mozilla always give us such spaces to talk about the issues or challenges we face in our own countries. But I think we also need tangible support, right? Speaking here would not support my organization or the cyber harassment helpline to sustain their work back home. So I think we really need to think of the ways that, maybe the app which is being made by some white dude in Silicon Valley would not help me in my context in Pakistan, right? So I found a traditional way of responding to these complaints around online harassment. And we started this harassment helpline last year in December, and up till now we received 1,000 complaints. And that's massive. Even the Federal Investigation Agency haven't done that. So I think we really need to support the ways where people are, trying to find solutions according to their context, instead of looking at the sexy app somewhere in Silicon Valley and spending thousands of dollars there.